The following is presented by the National Federation of the Blind of Arizona. Live the life you want.
Several years ago, President Riccobono, our national president, and the board decided that we needed to have a program that was going to provide another level of leadership training beyond the leadership seminar, which many of you have attended. Who's attended a leadership seminar? Okay. So they decided that we needed, something else. The leadership seminar is typically held over a weekend. They came up with a program that lasts a year. It's the Kenneth Jernigan In-Service Leadership Program. It requires a little bit more, actually a lot more, to gain admittance to that program than the leadership seminar. You have to write a personal statement or make a personal video talking about yourself and what sets you apart so that you can become a part of the cohort for the upcoming year. You have to secure a letter of recommendation from 2 affiliate presidents pledging that they will also serve as your mentors should you be elected. 2024-25 was the second such seminar. It's that new. And I am proud to say that one of our own was a member of that cohort. And that is Kristopher Crawley.
All right, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? All right, I'll repeat. Can you hear me okay? Yes. All right, good deal. First of all, thank you, President Porterfield, for inviting me up here. I know you talked a little bit earlier about your affection for the microphone. And of course, we already know Macaulay Beasley's affection for the microphone. I typically avoid it like the plague. So President Porterfield had to basically put me in a headlock to get me up here today. But I am here. And it's a very special moment for me, too, because one of my first mentors in the Federation is in attendance today, and that is Mr. Sean Calloway. So I just want to shout out Sean. Also, we are currently live streaming on YouTube. So I just want to shout out Joanne and Joe Good, who also has served as my mentor since coming to Arizona. They're doing a good job, and Joe over there on the soundboard. I'm also a part of the sound team, and let me tell you, that is not an easy job. So a big shout out to Joe Good over there. So for me, I'm up here, of course, to talk a little bit about the Kenneth Jernigan Leadership and Service Program, or KJLSP. But I just want to take a step back to talk about my journey in the Federation. It was about 12 years and 5 months ago that I joined the Federation. And I know a lot of times when I speak and I note the month and the date, people chuckle a little bit. But the reason that I do that is because of the impact that the Federation has had on my life. When I was in training in Virginia back in 2013, that's when I was first exposed to the Federation. It was April of 2013. And it really did change my perspective on life and as an individual, to really deeply impacted my view of myself. So in the Virginia affiliate, I did not hold any leadership programs, and in fact, the first few positions, I should say, in the first few years, I did not pursue leadership positions in the Federation in any affiliate because I thought those positions were reserved for people who had certain degrees or certain skill sets, experiences. But the truth is, we're all leaders here. As long as you have something to give and you share it with anyone around to better their situation or help them rise to reach their potential, then you are indeed a leader. That's something that took me about 6 to 7 years to understand. I moved to South Carolina from the state of Florida. I've been around. Virginia, Florida, South Carolina, 2019. And that's when I got recommitted to the movement. That's also where I was encouraged to pursue official positions within the affiliate as well. And I eventually got to the point where I was co-chairing Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee and the PR Committee as well. I was also elected as president of the South Carolina Communities and Faith Division, and myself, along with Derek Simon, founded the South Carolina Association of Blind Black Leaders, which is, I think to this date, still the only state-level division associated with the National Organization of Blind Black Leaders. And that division existed to address a need that we saw within the South Carolina affiliate in re-engaging the African American members into the movement. And I think we've been very successful in doing that. So I just want to shout out, I have a lot of mentors, y'all, but Janice Bright, president of that division right now in South Carolina, is a great mentor of mine as well, too, so I just want to give her that recognition. So I moved to Arizona back in 2023, but before that, I was approached by Mrs. Riccobono to attend a leadership seminar. I just want to ask again, how many of y'all attended the leadership seminar? So I didn't get that opportunity because I was leaving for Arizona 2 weeks later. And that was something that I really was interested in pursuing because, yeah, I've been in the Federation for a long time. I've held many different positions, but there were a few things that were missing. Guidance, direction, and mentorship. A lot of my mentors I was able to connect with later in my journey in the Federation, but I'm very much a person who benefits from additional resources and training and defined programs. And the Kenneth Jernigan Leadership and Service Program is the Federation's attempt to have a more defined and intentional approach to identify leaders from around the country and giving them the training and the resources and the mentorship that they need to succeed and to bring that back to their affiliates to support others in those pursuits. Here in Arizona, I should have put my phone on mute, but here in Arizona, we have a lot of leaders, we have a lot of strengths, we have a lot of diversity. And I will say here, when it comes to diversity, that I have never felt more welcome in an affiliate than I have since being here in Arizona. So I want to thank you all for that. But as Donald said, in order to even be considered for the program, you would have to get support from two affiliate presidents. I want to take a moment to also thank Marty McKenzie, affiliate president of South Carolina, and especially Donald Porterfield for supporting me in this journey as well. We had a lot of conversations. It wasn't an easy thing. If you know Donald, you know that he's really going to consider all angles before he puts his weight behind anything. So for him to actually even consider doing that for me and following through in his mentorship responsibilities is something that I can never repay. So thank you, Donald, for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So in the leadership program, you definitely dive deeper into what the Federation is, the inner workings of the organization, and of course you get connected with some of the well-known personalities in the Federation. As a member, you have a network, but within this program, you have immediate access to leaders with different responsibilities within the organization. you also, it's not just about understanding the organization, it's about also being vulnerable as a leader because you don't have all the answers. And you got to get comfortable with that. You also have to get comfortable with understanding your weaknesses and how to overcome them. One of my weaknesses historically has been speaking in public. That's something that's no longer an issue for me, and that's thanks to that program. The most difficult thing for me in attending this program was the sacrifices. For those of you who do know me, you know that I am a husband and I have 5, soon to be 6 children. So for me to make a commitment like this, and I started the program last September, 2 months before my 5th child was born, it was very difficult. But the reason that I did it was 2 reasons. One is because I would not have the family I had today if it wasn't for the Federation. The other is because I know that the impact that the services that we provide and the things that we do as an organization can have on someone, right? And that is my responsibility to make the sacrifices that I need to support all of you in the best way that I can. So I did that for y'all. So I graduated the program during convention. It was a very busy convention for me. And I couldn't be more prepared to lead going forward. The time that I spent at the Jernigan Institute, actually, like 12 years in the Federation. Last September was the first time I went to the Jernigan Institute. And it was a very, very powerful experience. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been there, you need to go. But I'm just so proud of my personal development. My dad told me years ago that the best gift you can give to anyone is your own personal development. And I'm looking forward to sharing that gift with y'all going forward. I was about to graduate the program, and then I also was encouraged to attend the IEP Academy as well. That's an area that is another weakness for me because I have 2 blind children. Let's just say I have 2 blind children who are in need of quality services pertaining to blindness. And historically, my wife, with her background in education and everything, has been the one to sit in on those meetings and handle the IEP process for my daughters. It's something that I did not feel like I was qualified to do. But through the IEP Academy, I realized that, based on my own horrible experiences in schooling, that I was more qualified than I realized. So when I got home and I began talking with my wife about, kind of some of the things that I've been learning, she's like, well, I'm hands off now. You can take it from here. That's a pretty big deal for me, and this is all due to the Federation. And, we don't always feel like leading, but it is a responsibility that all of us in this room have, whether you're a blind person or you're a non-blind ally. It's all of our responsibility. And I am going to continue to sacrifice for all of you in order to ensure that you all can sacrifice for the ones that come after us. So I'll be here for the rest of the day if you want to chat about the program. I know there's some other announcements relating to the program that we'll get into. But I just want to thank you again, Donald. I couldn't have done this. I would not have been able to develop to this point, be able to be up here and speaking to you all today if it wasn't for the support that you gave me throughout this process. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, so I remember the conversation that Kris and I had really well. I look at it from the perspective of it was a conversation, but for those of you who know what I do for a living, I mean, I'm a prosecutor. So my line of questioning in a conversation that can sometimes be skewed from my perspective. But I remember when Kris reached out and asked if I would be his mentor, and I told him I would. However, when we take on programs such as this is an elite training program because there's only about 25 to 30 people that can go through it a year. And trust me when I say that there are a lot of qualified people that apply and don't get in the first time. It's 15. So I remember specifically saying, I'm going to support you, but understand your ability to say no diminishes. We are a volunteer-led organization. Our capital is the work of each and every one of you. And Kris said he had considered it and he was ready to take on more. So I want to give Kris, a thank you for stepping up. He's, he serves on the board of the East Valley chapter. He is our affiliate communications director. So if you've been to our new YouTube page, you can thank Kristopher Crawley for that. So once again, Kris, thank you very much.